Look, we have to mention Newcastle. Obviously, Ben's not here, so we won't stay too long on it. They go to a bogey ground where famously they haven't won since Mo Diame's freak goal back in what
2018,
2017,
2017, yeah.
2017,
In
yeah,
the,
when
in
they
the
won the league
championship.
in the
In the
championship,
championship.
when they were behind Brighton and they won the rest of their games after beating
Mm.
Brighton and won the championship. So that's how far, like, how far in the past it
Long
was.
ago it
I was
was.
watching the highlights and I was seeing all these players, and there was Murphy, but it wasn't Jacob Murphy. It was a different Murphy, not his brother. It was some other guy. And then you had like fucking Gouffran there. And it's been ages. Anyway,
Mm.
they go to Brighton. They go one goal down to Welbeck. They get an equaliser through one of the best finishes I've seen this season. Is that
Yeah.
this guy Walter Made is a striker who doesn't look like he feels pressure. I can actually praise him now without because Ben's
Mm.
not here. Like
I
it's
was
not
going
going
to
to
say
gas
the
him up.
same. I mean, he scored 4 goals in 5 games, and I think all of his goals have been very well taken. He scored one penalty, but even that was quite a good penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I quite like him.
I like
I've
him.
knee
Yeah,
jerked him into my fantasy football team. So yeah, I actually think he's quite a good signing. I think um, I don't know what I was going to say. I think he is good, but as a team, they're just not firing. Like
yeah.
away from home, they're struggling. I think every away game they played was a 0-0 up until the
Up
Brighton
to
game.
this one,
That
yeah. Up to
was
this
yeah.
one. No, they've had a difficult start. I mean, Walter
Mm,
Mane is there. When you give him a chance with his head or with the back heel, he'll score. But
yeah.
I think there's no other real sources of goals in that team. Like they
Mm,
still got a really good midfield and a decent defense. But 2 wins in 8. That
mm,
that is the headline. That's the facts, the cold hard facts. You look in the table, they're bottom half. They're below us now. 4 points, I think, below
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. And Eddie Howe, he's got to be feeling some pressure now. Obviously, they're in the Champions League, and I did say, can I just remind everyone that Newcastle would be the biggest flop this season because I said they'd come mid-table because they'd struggle with Europe and they'd struggle with changing the system now Isak's gone. Just saying, okay. Um, but this is genuinely what we're seeing. We're seeing a team that
Mm.
doesn't really have an identity. I think they've got to get rid of Pope, not because of his
You think?
goalkeeping, but you've got a team that clearly wants to play out the back, and they have the
Yeah.
capability.
True.
And they have the capability to. It's not like United. We can't. If we pass it to Casemiro, he's going to fall over and pull his hamstring, and then get a red card. They've got Bruno, Tonali, Botman. When he's fit, they've got Hall, Livramento. These guys are very confident on the ball, and you can see they want to play it out, but they can't. And I think if you add that extra level of control to their game, they could genuinely start to build up the wins. Basically,
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
weird
know.
because
Yeah.
on paper they do have a good team. Like you look at
Mm-hmm.
the individual players. Like okay, Alanga was mentioned as someone who got subbed off at half time, but he's
Mm-hmm.
obviously still integrated into the team. And
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned earlier, I think the fact that he's gone from kind of a counter-attacking style under
It's
Nuno
true.
to then kind of a possession-based where teams are going to park the bus against you realistically, and you won't have that kind of room to run into. That's obviously going to take adjusting to, but they got the players. It's a weird one because this happened when they qualified for the Champions League a few years ago. I can't remember where they finished, but same thing. The next season
Like
happened.
eighth or
They
ninth,
fell
right?
off.
Eighth or ninth. They
Yeah,
didn't get Europe. Yeah.
mid-table.
Yeah.
And then the next season after that, when they didn't get Europe, they turned up, they finished fifth, and the exact same thing is happening. It's like they don't have the depth to kind of actually manage the games because realistically, you can't. You have to play Tonali, Guimaraes, Joe Linton. I know he's been mentioned a few times, but like you have to play your star players, and they're
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
they're getting tired and they're going to get worn out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would cut off an arm and a leg to get Elliot Anderson back. I know they had to
Mm,
sell him for PSR, but he's flourishing now, and I think
mm,
come January, I mean, it'll be hard, but the interest will start. All the big clubs are going to want him. I wouldn't be surprised if City are there. I mean, obviously Chelsea. Chelsea are always fucking there. We'll be in for him, I'm sure. Liverpool probably. It looks like they've got the checkbook out now. which, by the
Mm.
way, Liverpool fans have become very comfortable sharing. You know, like, oh, next summer, and then they put like Olise, Semenyo, and like
Yeah.
all these players.
Didn't used
It's
to
not that
be that
easy.
way. Didn't used to be that way.
I know, I know. Klopp didn't die for this. But yeah,
Exactly.
back to Newcastle. Yeah, I think they are going to struggle this year. I think when they figure out what they're actually doing, it'll get a bit better. But like you said, the depth, and I think the injuries will start kicking in
Mm.
because you get an injury to that midfield, maybe not Joe Linton, but Gumares or Tonali, and I genuinely
Yeah.
think that could be your European push over. Like I think
I
it's
mean,
that simple.
you've also got the November, December football, and if they're playing like every kind of few days, that will catch up to them at some point. It will.
Oh yeah,
And then you're losing kind of all your African players to AFCON. I know Wissa hasn't even played for them yet, and they
yeah,
spent 55 million on him. So it's again potentially a recruitment thing. I know Waldemar obviously come in and been a fantastic signing for them, but like could that money go on to two other players who could bring further depth, like Alanga, for example? I know
yeah.
him and Murphy, but yeah, it's very strange. You would have thought they would
Mm.
kind of kick on after finishing in the
Ah,
Champions League, but doesn't it to have been the case?
no heritage, no heritage. They don't know how to win. Uh, uh, um, another game, probably the last big game. I mean, I want to just mention that Palace drew 3-3, which I think was insane. Mateta scored a hat
Mm,
trick, and I would be very surprised if he doesn't get a move. I know he's in his 30s, but Mateta's there, man. He's still got it. Oh, he's finally getting it, really. But the game
mm.
I wanted to talk about is um, Spurs. Spurs
Oh yeah,
go 1-0 up against Villa at home and they lose. They drop points again at home in a game which maybe you don't expect to win as much as the Wolves game where they drew, but
mm,
it, it it feels like it's Tottenham of old. You know, they had a really good start. Everyone was getting really giddy. Everyone's saying, oh, Frank, oh, he's so good. United should get
mm.
Frank." And all of a sudden now they've got a few freak results, not freak results, but a few negative results. After that early loss to Bournemouth, where they got like one shot in 70 minutes or two
Yeah,
shots, whatever it was.
yeah.
Do you think Tottenham are what they're cracked up to be? Do you think they could push for top five? What level do you rate this Tottenham team?
I think it's weird because obviously that their only win at home this season in the league was that Burnley game, and this is a Burnley side who had just been promoted. And then
Yeah,
yes, they go to City and they win, so that's two wins. And everyone saw what Man City did to Wolves; they absolutely demolished them 4-0.
yeah, yeah.
So everyone's just seen that, and then Spurs have just beat them, and then thinking, okay, hang on, there's a good chance they're a good side now. Then you have Bournemouth, who
Mm,
absolutely destroyed them, and
mm.
the scoreline completely um, flattered Spurs. Like they shouldn't
Yeah,
have been 1-0. It should have
yeah,
been a
yeah,
lot more than
yeah,
that. They then draw against one of the worst Wolves teams, one of the worst teams in the division,
yeah,
but only
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
second point,
yeah,
having been, I think, at that point having no points.
yeah,
And then they lose to be fair to Villa, to Aston Villa today, for example, they've now won their last 5 games in all competitions. So they had that really tricky start and they've now kind of almost turned a corner. And I actually saw that win coming for them.
yeah.
At kickoff, I put a bet on Villa to win because I
There you
just
go.
saw it. I saw it happening. And I think the fact of the matter is that Spurs at home, bar that Burnley match, they've lost two and they've drawn one. They're in the bottom. I think they were in the bottom 4 teams for points at home and goals at home.
Yeah,
In comparison to their away form, where they beat Man City, they beat Leeds last time out. I think that they were like, I think that they were top in terms of points for away games out of
yeah,
all the teams in the Premier League. So their home form and their away form is a massive contrast. And I think
hmm
until they sort that out, and until they actually manage to win at home and get goals and actually make that a bit of a fortress, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near where people are expecting them to be. Javi Simmons also big signing. Don't really think he's done too much yet.
No, a bit quiet. Quite kind
Yeah,
of
he
in that
was
Wirtz mold. You know,
Yeah, he
small,
was trophy for
tricky.
Chelsea. He went for Tottenham. He wanted to win games rather than trophies, so maybe that's come back to bite him. Who knows? Um,
Yeah,
but no, I don't think. I think they've also had a few injuries as well. Like Romero missed out today.
yeah.
Solanke, who's kind of been non-existent this season at least, when everyone thought he was going to kick on and have a really good year under Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very interesting one. And as I mentioned with Aston Villa, like they had a really poor start to the season. Like they didn't score.
Yeah,
They
it
were
was
the last
awful.
team in England's top kind of four divisions to score a goal. You know,
Yeah.
they were the only team not to score a goal up to that point. But 5 wins in a row in all comps. Like they
Yeah.
turned the corner, and I think that result away at Spurs evidently shows that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now they're above Newcastle as well.
Mm.
I think that Tottenham team is always an if, but yeah, okay, they beat us in the Europa League final last year. I think that's more an indictment on us than them being a good team.
Yeah,
But
true.
but I mean, you signed Simmons, I think, as a Madison replacement. For me, I think we said it on on this show before. Me and Ben have said that Madison's career is done. Like he
Mm.
doesn't come back from this, or he reinvents himself as a holding midfielder or something.
Yeah.
Like two major knee injuries in your 20s. That's long. Simmons, I think, is a decent player. I think he could help them in Europe, but it's one of those like Wirtz where I don't see him flourishing. You know, the only small tricky midfielder I've seen, like attacking midfielder, not winger,
Mm.
I've seen flourish in the Premier League in the last 10 years. Coutinho, Payet, maybe two of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I can think of. I mean, to kind of do well in the Premier League, you've got to have something about you.
Mm.
You don't necessarily have to put the weight on or get stronger, but the way Wirtz is playing and just needs to change.
Mm.
Simmons, I'm not going to judge yet because I think it's only been a few games. Also,
Yeah.
he doesn't play for Liverpool, so I'll give him slack. And he didn't I think he costed half or less than half of what Wirtz cost. So
Works, yeah. I mean,
so of
still a
course,
lot of money. I think it was in the 50 millions.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I still think he's a good player, and I was actually very upset that we didn't get him, especially when you factor in Enzo and Palmer have both been injured. A lot of people said, "Oh, it would have been such a stupid signing," but I thought he could have done quite well for us.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe I'm a bit relieved that he's not doing so well for Tottenham, because if he did, they could be a real good team.
yeah.
So yeah,
I think so too. They've got a lot of potential. Um, that's pretty much everything. So, Charlie, I have one last question for you. Every week we
okay.
do it. Who is your bum of the week?
Ooh, bum of the week.
There we
Could you
go.
say could you say Marinakis?
You could say Marinakis. Yes, you idiots, Marinakis. Well done for being bum of the week. What's your reasoning
Could
for it?
Well, you've hired a manager who has taken Nottingham Forest from a very kind of precarious position
Yeah.
in, I think he joined the season before last, that would have been midway through 2024.
Mm-hmm.
They signed him just before, after kind of appointing Steve Cooper. This is really taking it back. They appointed
Yeah,
Steve
Steve
Cooper,
Cooper. Yeah, Steve
who
Cooper.
just
Yeah.
completely he was good at
You brought them up. Brought them up.
yeah, oh
Quite
yeah,
good.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Leicester. No, this is
Yeah.
there was someone else at Forest. I can't remember who.
What,
But
Houghton? Chris Houghton.
no, it was before. Who was the manager before Nuno? I actually can't remember
It
who,
was
but
Steve Cooper.
might have been. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it
Well,
was. It was. It was. Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right, because Steve Cooper went to Leicester the next year and he got sacked after only a
Yes.
handful of
Yes.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So back to Marinakis. Nuno's come in, and I think since he's come in, Wood's been excellent. The whole team has been brilliant, and they absolutely flew up the table, and they finished in a European spot, which the
Insane. Yeah.
previous season no Forest fan, no football fan would have predicted. There was
Yeah.
genuine
Yeah.
like title in December. There was like, actual kind of title talk. They drew with
Yeah.
Liverpool at home, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, here we go." And that's the champion, like that's the champions Liverpool. They were undefeated against them, four
Yeah.
points, one
I
at one
remember
at
that.
one at Anfield, and drew at the City Ground. So
Yeah.
to then, after a few, look, evidently stuff has happened behind the scenes that me and you and the majority of
Yeah.
football fans have
Yeah.
no idea. There's been a
It's
spat.
true.
There's been,
It's true.
Marinakis has thrown his toys out the pram. very capable, very evident. But to bring in a manager like Postecoglou, who is so unlike the mold of players that you have and the style of football that they've been used to for the past year, it is just reckless. It's reckless ownership.
Hmm.
And the fact that he sacked him after 39 days is fully on him. It was a terrible decision to get rid of Nuno. It was a terrible decision to bring in Postecoglou.
Yeah.
And the only right decision is that he sacked him after 39 days and actually not said, you know what, no, let's stick it out, let's see how it goes. Because they could have easily done that. But he's actually, to be fair to him, he's put his money where his mouth is and he said, no, you're gone. And it's probably one of the worst tenures a Premier League manager has ever done. But yeah, it has to be on, he has to be the bum of the week. I think the only other, I can't really think of another bum. Maybe Salah, he's kind of, but I
Yeah.
guess it's been more of a longer term thing. At the start of the year, he was getting, he got a late goal against Bournemouth, late penalty against Burnley. But apart from that, he's been non-existent. He was
Yeah,
non-existent against
he's been
us.
dismal. He's been dismal, man. He hasn't looked the
Yeah,
same player. He had that chance where the ball bounced to him at the back post. He had time against Lomans, and he just blasted it into
and
the
he missed
crowd.
it.
I don't know what
It's
he was
not.
doing.
Salah last year buried it, and he gets another one as well. So
Yes,
it's very interesting
it is.
as to
It
why he's
is.
kind of bummed out so hard.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it was time to get rid of him in the summer. I think I stand by
hmm.
that. I think he should have gone. Um, but on that note, I think my bum of the week has to be Eric Ten Hag. Oh, sorry, Arne Slot. Sorry, I just get them mixed up.
They don't
That's
have
four
hair, so
losses.
it's understandable.
Both don't have hair. Both Dutch. Both chatting utter dross in press conferences. Can I just say? Oh, honestly, this guy, 4 losses in a row for the first time in his career. It's the first time a Liverpool manager's lost 4 in a row since November 2014. Brendan Rodgers. Oh, this
Wow.
makes me so happy. This guy was talking about the percentage of goals that before the game that Liverpool scored from set pieces compared to how the percentage of goals Arsenal scores from set pieces, and he started saying that, oh, like if we played this way, we could win games. We should have won this game. We should have won that game. Mate, honestly, the amount of games
But you're
that
not
they
winning
won.
games. You're
Yeah,
not
they're not
winning
winning games.
games.
That's the
Four
fact. They're not
losses.
winning games. And the amount of games they won from what, like that 98th, 99th minute winner at Newcastle,
Mm.
the last minute penalty at Burnley, the Bournemouth comeback, all these games, you finally lost it at Palace, and since then you haven't been able to recover. So that's 3 in the league, 4 in all comps. Now you've got to go to the Champions League and somehow win. I think they're at home. I'm not too sure. But at the
I
end
think
of the
they're
day, mate,
playing. Who are they playing? I can't
oh,
remember, but
Frankfurt
continue.
away. Fucking lose
Tough
again,
game.
mate.
Tough
Lose
game.
again. Lose again. But honestly, this guy, he's chatting now. He's starting to, can see him getting a bit shaky, He doesn't, he's feeling the pressure because this is a Slot team. We were seeing a Klopp team with Slot at the helm last season. This is Slot's team, £500 million, kind of heaving it up. And
Mm.
it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. To my pleasure, actually. So thank you for the first win at Anfield since I was in year 10. And
That really
right,
dates it, doesn't it?
literally,
Yeah, I
literally,
completely agree. I completely agree. Like 4 defeats in a row. He spent all the well, the club has spent all this money. They had an obvious rebuild in the pipeline, and they look a worse team. And I don't think they've even hit the heights of last season yet. But it's okay because Alexander Isak, who they signed for a great British transfer record,
yeah,
2 to 3 months. That's how long it's going to take for him to get up to
yes.
speed with the Premier League. Because
He's
of
not
course he's never
familiar.
played this league before, has he? Oh
No.
wait, he has.
Oh, yes, it's true. It's true. And look, he had one chance, which a good save from Lomans, but last season he buries that. He
He
just
buries
does.
it. Yeah.
He just does. But you know what? United win, Chelsea win, Newcastle and Liverpool lost. It's a beautiful weekend. Thank you, Charlie, for coming on to replace my co-host for the week.
Thank you for the
Uh,
invite, as always.
yes, and we'll see him again soon, hopefully. And everyone else, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And give us hate, please. We like the hate. And yeah, hopefully see you next week in a bit. Peace.